record whenever you're ready. There's no point doing lead-ins.
We're good.
Yeah, we're all good.
Can you hear me?
Can you see me?
Can you hear me now?
Hear me now? I watched that the other night, you know.
That last one.
Yeah. Huh?
That one about Clem's.
Oh yeah.
From hero.
Do some
Oh right, was that a dog panting that?
Yeah.
I watched it up there and I had to switch it off.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No dogs in here.
No.
No dogs allowed.
No noise, no.
So we're on to episode 6.
Yeah.
Episode 6, all about this guy, Mr. Doyle, in his environment. For anybody that doesn't know, Tony's full-time teacher, and he's got a ginger beard.
I have.
And
No greys in it though.
no greys in it.
No, there's a few blacks actually, which is weird. I'm not even ginger either. Blonde, which.
Well, that always works, yeah.
Blonde, I don't know. I never said strawberry, but I'll go with blonde.
Bill Kid always says strawberry, doesn't he?
Yeah, Auburn Sunset.
Phil,
Yeah,
which Phil?
John.
He's Ginge. John Pilt, you're Ginge.
Yeah.
We all get t-shirts. John
Hates
Pilkey's
the sun,
Ginge.
doesn't he?
Ah,
I'm gonna hear it.
breeds them. But yeah, Tony's full-time teacher. Still playing rugby, Tony?
Just retired.
Just retired rugby player. And were you the sole founder? Was it your birth idea, or a couple of friends come up with a lockdown challenge?
No, I come up with the idea for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously a couple of I was speaking to a couple of mates, and they came on board with it. But they have been on board from the start of it. Yeah, I approached a couple of mates, and so I founded it. Yeah.
So there's lots to go over.
Well, good. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
It's brought quite a bit of joy to a lot of people, I think. It's had would you say it's had the desired effect that you wanted it to?
Yeah, definitely. The whole idea of it was, for me, I didn't know it would go so big, but it was to help me mates, especially because I knew, because I don't sit well, that boredom would become a big factor during lockdown, especially for men.
It's fatal, isn't it?
Yeah, massively, because when we get bored, we do daft shit and temptations. Yeah, so...
And instead of being bored doing daft shit, we've shared it.
Yeah, well, exactly. I thought, I'll lead this shit and we'll make some money off it.
But that's the last one the other day. We watched the last one, didn't we? The chicken wing challenge. Wow.
Unreal. Still going that, done. They're still donating for that. They've raised over 600 quid now, lads. We've raised over 1,200 quid in 2 different hot wings challenges. So it just shows the power of it, doesn't it? Just if it's kind of done right, and when I say right, like obviously we controlled it and advertised it, and it's a bit of a laugh. You know, it's like 1,200 quid just for a group of lads, don't it? Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah.
Do you know what I've really enjoyed as well? I don't want to go too political into it, but because it's a men-only group.
It's well good.
Get that on camera.
Yeah. But it's like a real insight to what blokes actually talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
So what they actually get up to, and it's like those memes that are out there, innit, when you've got a bloke lying in bed next to a woman, and she's saying, oh, what's he thinking about, what's he doing? And he's going, did I put that right wheel on the right wheel on the motorbike or something like that?
And that's why it works, and this is nothing against women, and this was my whole thing from the start. And if it would have been an open group, it would have become political, there'd have been name calling, and naturally women like to know what men are up to, but and that's just the way they are, isn't it? You know, my missus always wants to know what I'm doing. But when you just strip back and just leave a group of men,
it's a safe space.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's become a community and a safe space where a lad can get up and go in the bathroom on toilet at 7 in the morning for his work, and just put something on when he's thinking, and everybody will fire stuff, and it works. And then he can go to work then, and he's got it off his chest. Yeah, you know, so...
But it was even like, I think somebody asked for a bit of advice the other day, and I looked at it, an hour later there was 600 comments.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't get, I personally don't think you'd get that if it was an open group, because a man would probably be embarrassed to open up in front of a load of women, maybe, or knowing that, you know, because let's be honest, women do have a reputation of gossiping, but I think the group is it's become more of a help and advice group. So the lads feel that they can just chuck something out there. Don't get me wrong, there's some stuff comes back when they're taking piss, but we encourage that as well, because it's banter in it, and it gets most of you through that anyway. So yeah, it's worked. I underestimated the power of social media, because I'm quite negative with it, because I see in my job as well how it can really affect people in a bad way. But this has, for 99% of the time, it's had a positive impact.
If it's used correctly, it's a very powerful tool.
Yeah, and it is you like it or not, it's the future, isn't it? Really, social media and being out there is where everything's going. Hence, probably why we're here as well, isn't it? You know.
Yes.
Definitely.
To add on, we will come back to it, but all money raised goes towards the NHS.
Absolutely, yeah. All money to the NHS. We're going to look at doing a few sort of side fundraisers for sort of maybe lesser sort of organisations, if you like. You know, maybe some football clubs, teams. You know, as people start to try and get back on the feet, because I think people are underestimating. We're not just going to be able to go back to normal life after this. There's going to be pubs. There's going to be pubs shutting. Teams are going to shut down. You know, shops, businesses. So we've already had a talk. The admins. We're going to look at supporting sort of smaller organisations with little hard hit fundraisers, 300, 400, 500 quid here and there, and try and do it like that.
Well, we might come back to. I'll throw this out there while you've said it, because I think we've hit the same page. Being from the same town, Lee is a sporty town, regardless of whether it be badminton, squash, football, rugby, tiddlywinks. You know, ex-mining town, fell on hard times, looked towards sport.
Yeah.
I would like the romance of the lockdown cup.
Yeah.
Whether it be in winter rugby, when the rugby season's off,
Yeah.
in summer when the football season's off,
Yeah.
and I'll just throw it out there, teams like the Foundry, you know, Pennington, Lee Town, whether they all come together in summer, every team throws in an amount of money and goes in for the lockdown cup. Same as if you've got East, Miners,
Veterans teams.
veterans teams.
And I think that's the beauty of, because the group's predominantly north-western. I check it regularly. Don't get me wrong, we've got people from all over the world, but I think that's the beauty of it. With it being based and started in the northwest, we're all predominantly sporty people, and we're used to sort of mucking in for each other and playing teams. And like you said, lads will compete for a piece of grass. But if you chuck a feel good factor in, like a trophy and a bit of fundraising, it just, you know, it boosts it. And I get messages all the time of lads saying, oh, I've not worked for 8 weeks, but as soon as I've worked, and they've been true to the word, like they've chucked a tenner in this week, but they've been in the group since day one, and it's just, it's a feel good factor, and we could hold a darts comp, a pool comp, a rugby comp, whatever, and they'll buy into it, because like you touched on before, it's become a space now, and I said this to the admins all the time, it's the lads group now, they own the group, we manage it now, it's those 34,000 people who are in it, that's their safe space now, and they feel like they own it, which they do in a way, because they contribute all the content to it.
That's it, without them it'd be nothing.
Yeah, exactly,
Like we've said, without our guests, this had never happened. Without people wanting to talk to us two lunatics.
But that's good though, isn't it? Because I think lockdown, one thing it's done for me as well is it's opened my eyes more. I think I touched on this in the video. Because of my job, mainly, I would never accept friend requests of people I genuinely didn't know.
Yeah.
But I've changed a little bit now, because I've accepted a few during lockdown, and they've actually messaged me for bits of advice and stuff, and we've actually become friendly, although it's over social media. And you just never know when people need that, you know. So I've kind of changed my view on it a little bit and tried to open myself up a little bit more.
Do you think it's, sorry to cut you off, but do you think it's mad? Do you ever sit there and go, why are people asking me for advice?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Who am I? Who am I?
Yeah,
You've had it, I've had it, I've
I'm
gone,
not even qualified, mate. I just think, well, if I can help you, I will.
Yeah, what is qualified? Do you know what I mean? What is qualified? You know, because, and this is another thing where I've picked up recently as well. What you've done in your life can sometimes give people so much, rather than what's on a piece of paper or a quality certificate, you know.
Well, it's a case of I've walked through door one, right? And door one.
Can you just give me a call, please? It's Mara. Thank you.
No.
Cheers.
I'll put that on Do Not Disturb.
Well, yeah. Just to say, we can fill the dead air. You've done it, I've done it.
It's experience.
Yeah, but I've walked through door one. Door one was very wrong.
Yeah.
And what I've done, I've run out of door one and gone straight to door two.
Yeah.
And on the rebound, that wasn't very right. What you need to do is sit there,
Keep learning.
yeah, learn, evaluate, what are your options, then make an educated decision.
Yeah, and personally, I think I've always made 2 or 3 really shit decisions first before I've got to that
could write
last
a book
one.
about bad
Yeah,
decisions.
100%, and you never get it right, do you? Or you often get it wrong. That's learning though, I suppose. You've got to get it wrong to get it right, haven't you?
Exactly.
You have to. I'm one of them, especially in the coaching world. I beg strikers that hit that ball. Our military background about shooting,
Yeah.
whether it be a passing rugby, you've got to do that so then you can aim off for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
You know, you've got to kick that ball. You've either got to write that sentence. You've got to get it wrong to get it right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And with a lot of things, you'll get it right. You'll get it wrong 4, 5, 6, 7, but you'll only get it right once. Then you'll repeat that once.
Yeah.
But it's people like ourselves. You don't like getting it wrong.
No, that's
Well, it's failure, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's failure.
Failure, yeah. That holds a lot of people
You're
back.
known as well.
Yeah,
I've never
definitely,
done
yeah.
this before. If there's people watching as well and you fuck it up, you're in a world of it. You just want to hide, don't you?
Yeah, especially at a young age as well. That with
Pressure.
sort of pressure and kids feeling that people will laugh at them and stuff like that. But it can become quite stuck within you that as well, and you can carry that through into life, into going for a job interview or whatever it might be.
It's that character in Simpsons, isn't it? That's what I always think of when you get something wrong. There's always someone in the corner going.
Well, Nelson,
And then you look and he's eating soil.
yeah, he's not got a brain cell himself, has he?
Yeah.
He's always picking on someone else. Yeah,
What have you ever done? You're laughing at me.
You're laughing at me. But there's always that one who's waiting.
yeah,
Waiting.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's the gist of it. Got to know where Danny always likes to start. Do you want to take us back?
Tony as a kid.
As a
What
kid,
do you
Where are you from, number 6, and where'd you come from?
obviously I'm from Lee, Lancashire, sunny Lee, small mining town. Grandad was a miner.
Do you know Burnley's a mining town as well?
Burnley, yeah.
So we don't do rugby.
No, they don't do rugby when we were older.
You put it on floor and kicked it. Yeah.
Round ball.
Yeah, we're involved, yeah.
Go on,
yeah.
sorry.
So, no, it's fine. So, yes, pretty normal childhood, really. Mum and dad, living with mum and dad, sister and my brother. Mum and dad still together now. Grew up in a really, really good area at the time, near First Park, Wigan Road, so you'll know it.
Yeah.
So surrounded by fields, the marsh playing fields, First Park, you've got fir tree flash at the back of my house, the lake up front. So literally grew up fishing, playing cricket, playing rugby, playing football, climbing trees, rolling around in shit. Just everything that kind of you wish that your own kids would be doing now, really. Certainly mine, anyway.
Definitely.
Went to a really good infant and primary school, and at that time, everything was just heavily on sport. So I was just sport mad, but I lived in a street where there was sort of 40, 50 of us who were all sport mad, and I just fell into it. It kept me occupied, and
It builds camaraderie though, doesn't it, as well?
Massive friends, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
massively.
inclusive of sport.
It's like one of them where you could go out walk out your house whatever day at week, and you just go onto the field. Everyone's done. It's like everyone knew right, we're going up field at this time. Don't forget, then you didn't have a phone or anything. You'd all just meet at a tree or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that's how it was for me. And I fell into rugby really, really early because my dad played, and I grew up in an area like Mickey Iron lived in the same street as me. Like Neil Turley who played at Lee wasn't too far away. Just around where I lived was just a really good sort of pool of talent, whether it being, like I said, rugby, football, cricket, and we just bounced off each other, and that just took me. That was my childhood. Really was just getting filthy and enjoying myself. Really. So sort of it was quite apparent from an early age, really, that rugby would be that was my driving sort of sport, if you like. I always did other stuff. I was fit as a fiddle when I was a kid, so I could like cross country run and all that.
Yeah.
But I sort of
teams and that.
Yeah, did teams. So obviously school teams. I ran for like Wigan, and then won races there. So then you run for like Lancashire and and all that. Used to win, like without being arrogant. Used to win pretty much everything I turned my hand at as a kid. I was just that athletic. And then I'd probably say about my dad was coaching at Lee East at the time. So I always played a year above myself because naturally I was always with my dad's team, and then I had to drop down, and I dropped down, and then they just wouldn't pick me, and it was because
What age was this?
it would have been about, I only did a few seasons at least, so probably something about under 9s.
Right.
So it was a bit of a tough time for me because my dad would be out coaching a team, and I'd be playing for this team year below, and I'd have no one watching me because my mum would be home with kids, so I was out on my own, and my dad's coached other team, and my dad's quite opinionated, so he'd stand up for me and speak his mind. So then at that time, then I was then getting punished, so I'd be the one like left on sidelines and things like that, which you see every day. It's not unusual. And then
Sort of tech though, innit, as a kid.
yeah, massively, yeah, because
Rejection.
all the kids I was playing with, I went to school with, and you know, many some of them couldn't lace my boots. Even at that age, 9 and 10-year-old, and you know that when you start to get into a sport, you know when you're good at it, and you know they're the kids that you're playing with.
There's a lot of coaching today that you use, if you like, the better kids to the kids who are developing. I'm a strong believer of mixing abilities.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because the better ones will always bring the ones who need to develop.
Yeah. So back then that wasn't the case. It would be right. You 10 here, and then you'd be out there type of thing, and the sort of lesser ones or the ones who struggling would. You'd get to watch, wouldn't you, or whatever. Whereas, like you said now, and it's my teaching style, I'll always use kids who are good as a bit of a leader, and they'll bring them on. Because if you're bringing them on, eventually they'll catch up, or they'll be able to contribute something to it. Rather, if they're not, then when you need to call on that kid, they've not had that experience, so that they'll probably either freeze or they've just not got it. It's not been instilled in them. So I said to my dad, like, I want to move, and I ended up going over to Lee Miners at 10-year-old, and that, I can honestly say, that changed my life massively, because I was introduced to Lloyd Pugsley, who was the coach at the time, who's just unbelievable amateur coach, and just never looked back from there. And it was only within a season of me moving over, the team that I'd left, I don't think had been beat for sort of since they were like 6-year-old. And within a year, we'd all grown, we'd all developed, we were being coached right, and they never beat us again. We went on then up until like 16 to just embarrass them every year, because we built a team of sort of lads who quite a few who weren't good enough for that team. Had gone over, and then we started getting coached right, and obviously you grow and things.
But do you think that was massively integral as well to like your development? Being shown, you met a leader in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, someone who he had a particular way of his man management skills with kids. Don't get it wrong. I'm going back now, 20 odd years ago. Some of the stuff he did, you won't get away with now, like his clippers right back at head and stuff like that. But he always did it with a smile on his face, and he'd give you a clip right back at head, and you'd be begging for him to give you another clip right back at head. You'd want to make another mistake, because that's just the way he was. He was brilliant with it. But some of the rugby we played under him, because there was 20 of us, and we all bought into that set, and you were just desperate to impress. And we had lads who came and who weren't very good with like ball handling wise, and within a year or 2 years, everybody was just level on this playing field, and it just clicked, and we went everywhere. We went camping in bloody Cumbria on a few tours, and then we were the first team from Lee Miners to go to France, and just those experiences at like 14-year-old, I still think some of the stuff we did then, it comes back to me every single day.
Did that affect your choices going into high school?
Yeah, so what happened from that, the team that we built at Lee Miners, we pretty much, 90% of us all went to Bedford High, and we
they're getting some shout outs here today, aren't we, Miners?
So yeah, and it's probably, I don't think it'll ever be touched, but the team that my team, 96 to 2001, is the hands down the best rugby team that's ever been at Bedford High. I think we finished English Schools Champions four times, Wigan Schools Champions 4, won North East Counties Cup every single year. I don't think it's ever been matched that, especially not in Lee. I think there was St John Fisher in Wigan, which I think Sean Edwards' brother Billy Joe Edwards his year. Don't think they ever got beat, but especially in Lee, I don't think there's ever been a rugby team like that, and it was 90% made up of that team, and then we ended up getting some lads who came later on as well, like moving schools. Got lads moving schools just to play on rugby teams. So really,
it's a good recruiter for schools as well.
Yeah, massively.
And I think that's been lost slightly.
There's not even enough PE or exercise at all in schools now. It's not in the curriculum, is it?
No.
Other things to priority.
Well, no, it's like they're starting to name themselves, aren't they? Like a technology college or a science college, and it's all about funding, isn't it? It's all about getting different pockets of money. But no, you're definitely right. It's not for what you get out of it, like the experience and the team, the leadership skills, and how it can sort of set you on that path. There's definitely not enough of it in schools.
I think one major one. Sorry, Danny.
I think kids love being outside.
Yeah, of course they do.
And
Oh, they did.
If they're lucky, but if something came in that took priority, then PE got binned off, which it didn't really sit well with me, because I think it's vitally important that kids get exercise and get out.
But one thing I think we're losing as well is communication skills.
Massively, yeah.
We found it now, especially with the younger ones, how our kids talk to each other through a microphone on in front of a screen. They won't dare talk to each other like that in real life.
No. Well, if you did, and I know, because I was always one of the youngest growing up, all my mates are older than me. If you spoke to, you get a smack right mouth, wouldn't you? Like, and
You got it.
yeah,
Bang, bang,
and
yeah.
if you spoke to someone now in a job, and these kids speak to them behind a screen, you get fired from your job. So it's not sort of instilling the right qualities in them, is it? It's
Life skills, aren't they?
yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
But it's you say, I've seen it quite a high level in football.
And football does my head in.
How they're afraid to instill core values because there's a lot of investment going in these young people. If you lose that one young person, you're losing their investment with them.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's almost this word, and I don't like the term at all, player power, because look, it gives a false sense of everything. We've talked about it as you're in a coaching position or a managerial position because you're there to teach. You know, you're an educator of that sport, of that game, of that way of life. And if you've got somebody who's, and I see as a younger person, who's an apprentice, it's like the apprentice leading the master. You know what I mean? It didn't work for Anakin Skywalker. It can't be working there. So you're at Bedford.
Yeah.
What's your take for GCSE? Yeah, were you good? Were you a good
I've
educator?
always been clever. No, I wasn't a good studier. I wasn't good in. See, I don't, like I said, I don't sit well. I'm not someone who will read and take a lot of information in. I've always been a doer, a trier, and I've always learnt by, if it didn't work, find a different way of doing it, you know, and then try and get better at it. So obviously I excelled in PE, and you know, my mum was a teacher, so naturally I've always been pretty clever. I definitely didn't come out with the grades I should have done.
Yeah.
But I tossed it off big time. I got to year 10 and 11, and I was just like, I've had enough of school. It's shit. I'm on board with it.
Did you already know what you wanted to do?
You know, it's weird because when I was a kid, I always said I wanted to be a PE teacher when I was a young kid, and then obviously when you get to like 13, 14, when I started to realise how good I was at rugby, clearly then the focus became being a professional rugby player. And at the time, they weren't big on the clubs weren't pressing you must succeed in school. It's changed now. I know a lot because a lot of my mates, lads are going into professional ranks, and they are big on your education. You've got to get your education. But then, so I left school in 2001. They just wanted good rugby players, and then they'd bang you on weights, and and it was all about progressing into academy, into first team. So I think I started to turn off from being interested in school probably halfway through sort of year 9, going into year 10, because my focus then had shifted onto I'm going to be a professional rugby player. But I'd had a bad accident as well when I started high school, so I fell through a roof. 97.
How did you find yourself on the roof? Or should we not ask? Are you
Yeah,
allowed to
I can
discuss?
tell you, yeah, so same street, about 40 of us, so if anyone's played Mantle, Trolley, or whatever it is,
Still do.
one of the best games ever invented. So we're playing Mantle in 2 teams, and there's probably about 30 of us, I reckon, and we're on a roof, a big pitch roof like this, and I'm wide on this roof, and I've got a lad with me, so I've had to look up to see if they were coming, because it's about 40 foot up this roof, it was a factory roof, and they've seen me, so I said to the lad, I'll get down so they don't know you're here. At night I've gone walking over the roof, and I didn't know it was a skylight, because it was like, the corrugated roof.
Yeah, when it changes.
Yeah, so I've just stepped on it, gone straight through it. It was a glass factory, and I've landed on my head. But luckily, you can't see because of this stupid beard. I've got a big scar here. I've hit my chin on the roof, and it's knocked me out, spun me. So I've landed sort of on my head. But because I was so relaxed because I was knocked out, they said if I'd have been sort of conscious, I probably wouldn't have survived it. So anyway, I've landed on my head.
Oh.
Because you would have gone. Oh,
Yeah, because it's been
stiff and
stiff
no.
on impact. But this was a glass factory, and I've managed to land, I reckon, about like in a gap like this, straight on concrete floor. Because at the side of me was a big sheet of glass here and a glass cutting machine here, and I've somehow dragged myself to an area, and one of the lads has gone running home to my mum. Fire engines have come, and obviously it's at night, so they had to cut the roof off this factory, and they've just basically followed the blood. And I was there, but I was an absolute mess. I broke every bone in my arm, snapped my growth plate, my face fractured my skull. You know, my face was a mess. I was cross-eyed for about 6 months. The impact was that bad, like. So when I went back to school, I was like, you know, my eye was proper turned in. Like,
So I should be laughing.
yeah,
But,
you can, everyone laughed at me. Yeah, I used to get all that as well. But it was weird because what they predicted, how they predicted my recovery. I don't know if I think it was because I was just so fit and active and mobile.
Yeah.
8 weeks later, I took my plaster off, and my mum went absolutely mental. I've gone to get my plaster off,
Tune.
and gone to hospital, and we were in semi-final at English Schools Cup. So I've said to him, I'm going to get a plaster off and go up to watching. And so my dad's taught me I've took my plaster off and put my kit on. I played that day, my plaster off. And my mum went mental. She went absolutely mad at my dad. Anyway, we won, like, got another
mad at
final.
me, Dad.
So,
Dad outside.
oh,
like,
yeah.
Go on, lad.
So,
Great.
but yeah, she went mad. She went absolutely mad. But
Rightly so. Fucking
yeah. Looking back now, you'd think, fucking hell, what a stupid decision. But like I said, I was that fit, my body. It was mad because everything just healed. I was still a bit cross-eyed at the time. I had to have physio on my eye and that, but I was just back to my physical like peak within like 8 weeks after such a bad fall. It was a really bad fall. Yeah.
Any repercussions from being on someone else's property?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And if any of my mates watched it, it was weird because obviously it hit the papers, the journal, the reporter. Then I think it was Key 103 turned up at my mum's house on the Friday night. I'm still in hospital. I think I'm still in a coma at this point.
Shite, you left that out, Tony.
Yeah.
You left out, we'll just
Yeah,
skip
yeah.
over coma.
So I'm thinking Thursday night it happened. So Friday, Key 103 turns up at my mum's house. Mum's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Blah, blah, son's still in hospital. I don't think I'd come round at this point, and I'm sure they got me one of my mates to come, Lee Pugsley, and Lloyd's son it was, just to sit there and talk to me. And then Manchester Evening News ran a report on it, and I think they reported it as I fell for a 70-foot roof, and I was like, yeah, definitely wouldn't be alive for that. Yeah. So then these stories started circulating and stuff, and journal had put one in, and a week later, I think I'm probably still in hospital at this point. Headline in the journal, League Journal: Dead End Street Gang Strikes Again. Sort of like
big news.
For a kid having an accident.
Yeah. So
playing man on.
And what had happened was the woman whose factory it was, I won't name them because I don't want anything to come back on me, but she'd said that we were a nuisance group of teenagers. Now, as I said to you before, we weren't. We were all we did was kids. We played cricket, you know, and we used this industrial estate. It was like a multi-sport ground. We painted wickets on the wall. We had football nets, rugby posts, blah 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 blah. And she said that her defence, because the building wasn't secure and it was easy accessible, was that we were this sort of gang that went round wrecking buildings and stuff. And they ran this story for about 2 or 3 weeks. And I think at the time, I know my mum and dad were just sort of hell bent on making sure I was all right and, you know, making sure I made a full recovery. But then when this woman started slandering us and, you know, accusing us of like, I think, thieving stuff and trying to wreck the property, that's kind of like when it became a little bit, it got a bit daft and it ended up going to court. So obviously she was trying to sue me. So we counter-sued back as well and put an accident claim in because there was laddered access to the building, and the security guard used to let us play on there.
So it's a case of, it's your fault, you made it look really nice to climb.
Exactly.
You made it too attractive.
Oh yeah, it was, because, and that's how it was. And then, you know, the stories stopped, and we ended up in court and whatnot, and there was a settlement out of court and stuff, and the rest is history. That building's still there, but the company isn't. And it's a little bit more secure these days. I've been up, but it looks sad. I go up, my mum still lives in the street, and there's no one playing anywhere near it.
No.
Shit, it's like
So
you struggle to see any kids out now, anyway, don't you?
Did you get any taglines then as a bit of a wrong one after that?
Well.
Head on show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, because even then, like I've just started high school, so I started in '96. This was in the February '97, and all my mates, like I said, they're all older than me, so I was still like the youngest one, and they all knew that it was just an innocent, it was an accident. That's all it was. I think a few people thought I was a bit like probably not human that I'd survived it, because people become a bit of a tourist spot for a bit. People be going like, fucking hell, he fell through that. Like, he's here now. They're like, it was
like a cat.
We're 90s. We're talking pre-internet.
Yeah. Because I remember when I actually was at home. Like, bearing in mind, I only started high school the September. This is in the Feb. So about March time, when I went home recovering, phones going all the time in day, and it was like girls and stuff on payphone at school ringing you up and see you're alright and that, because obviously that was a phone then. I think I might have got a Nokia 3310 in about 99 or something like that, but there was no phone or anything like that.
Up, Dad, so
like, you should have told me Dad, no, he's here, bloody hell, like. So that's how it was, that's how it went. It was weird, but yeah, so
you're known, you're a character, you're known for being out and about, being out there. That you were saying before, school, education-wise, not really your cup of tea.
No.
Have you taken the steps then to get into an academy, a rugby academy, or have you stayed with community clubs?
What, now?
No, like in that time.
Oh right, yeah. So yeah, well, pretty early. I got sort of my sort of rugby career as an amateur was picked up on pretty early by scouts and stuff. So I think sort of probably around about 13-ish, 14, I was at Wigan on like, it was just called, you just trained then, and Bradford as well. So I'd be training at Wigan and training at Bradford. Bradford was massive then, in the late 90s, huge. Any rugby fans will know, sort of Brian Noble era, they were just massive work they did. And Wigan were really good as well.
For those that don't know, this is the early era of Super League.
Yeah, right at the
Bradford
start.
Bulls,
so Bradford, Wigan, Saints, Leeds were, they were sort of at the forefront of full-time rugby league. I think it'd only gone full-time in about 96, hadn't it? 96 I think was the first Super League season. Might be wrong, but it's roughly. So them four were head and shoulders above everybody else. They were the ones who were sort of putting full-time sort of strength and conditioning coaches, and they were head and shoulders above everybody else.
Turning it into a business rather than a sport.
Yeah, definitely, because it was still obviously in relation to rugby union, it was still a poor man's sport, weren't it? There wasn't a lot of money in it, still is it now. Yeah, so I'm training. So I'm at Wigan training there, up Central Park actually back then, and Bradford.
Wow, it's a Tesco now, isn't it?
Yeah, Tesco now, yeah. And I think I was there probably. In fact, I was on that sort of scholarship scheme at Wigan for up until sort of like 15, and then they started to sign lads my age then, at sort of in year 11, ready for going to academy, and then that's when like it comes a bit of a flea market then. So you get phone calls off all different clubs, and they're like saying, don't sign there, and that's when Salford came in for me. So I actually signed for Salford while I was still at school. I signed in the last year for Salford, and the sort of rationale behind that was that Salford were a smaller club, and hence more opportunity,
more playing opportunity,
and
rather than being at a bigger club and they're harvesting lots and lots of players.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I went with. We didn't turn it that way. So yeah, like it sounded the right thing to do. Looking back now, I should have never left Wigan. Even if I didn't sign at 16, I should have stayed there and just gone through the academy. And even if I'd have signed at 20, it wouldn't have mattered, because I'd have had all that wealth of top class training. Because then when I went to Salford, it just wasn't the same.
In what way, like professionalism?
Yeah,
just
so it's too
infrastructure.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, so they were sort of, they're in Super League, but really, really right at the bottom.
We're talking as well before, for those that don't know, Salford now have a fantastic big massive stadium, quite a lot of financial backing. Well, we can tell they were in the grand final.
Yeah, there was last year. Yeah, didn't it?
Last year,
yeah,
but
yeah.
so the era that you're talking about, it was a bit of a backdoor club.
Yeah, it was, and you know, assigned, and you get sold this, you get sold of what's going to happen when you sign, and you'll
Not like joining the army, no.
yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I felt like bloody army at time, and then it's literally the day I left school. I'm in a first team environment at Salford because I signed professional terms. I signed 4 years, so I didn't sign on like any academy thing. I was full time professional, but straight away it was like I've got to get myself to this gym in Walkden for 6 in the morning. Then we've got a field session in Swinton at 10, and then we've got I'm back at Manchester at such thing, and I don't drive. I've no real money at that time, and I'm like, shit, like this is real, and it wasn't sort of what I'd envisioned it being. Had I been at, let's just say, for example, Wigan, everything's on one base, you get looked after, they're handing buzz passes out to the kids, and all the lads were still at the local college. I had to go to college in Pendleton in Swinton, which I didn't know anybody there, and the culture shock was just massive for me, and I definitely underestimated it. Definitely didn't give it me all. I didn't commit what I should have done to it.
You're not funny, are you?
No,
If your head's not there.
No, I wasn't, and I didn't at the time. I didn't sort of, I didn't relate anything back to why my sort of thought process where it was, and now I think I look back and I think, I'd been so used to being at the top and having everything my own way and my amateur rugby and things like that, and everyone running around after me, and sort of everywhere we got, like when I was at Lee Miners, we were well kitted out and we wanted for nothing. We were brilliant. I played for Lancashire, everything. And I went to Salford, and it was just like, yeah, proper on your own, like that. You're on your own here, yeah. So you've got to sort of.
Whereas, had you been an experienced pro, you'd have been used to that environment.
Yeah.
Even if it's, and I'm not saying undisciplined, but the discipline of, I know how to sort not my week out, but my month out.
Yeah.
And again, like we say, we know it's not a sport that's flourished with money.
Yeah, no.
Thrown at it anyway.
No.
Whereas a lot of lads have got to have 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Or they've even got to have a job
Yeah.
to go and play the professional sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had no idea how to be a professional rugby player. Like, now, a lot of clubs now, and they're getting them at sort of 12 and 13, even younger, and there's education on it, and there's education on your diet and how you train and your time, and it wasn't that then. I hadn't had any of that before I signed, and it was straight in, and it was like, right, boom, you're a professional rugby player now. You've got to act like him, who's been, there's some good players at Salford at the time, and Bobby Goulden was there, Martin Afai, but they've been top professionals for like 10, 15 years already, and I was like, I'm training with them, and although it's a good experience, but you've got the same as him. I'm 16, I've not got a clue. I'm not got a clue.
Yeah, I don't even know how to shave.
I'm not earning any. Yeah, exactly. I don't even know how to shave. I've never lifted a weight in my life. For example, you're thrown into a weight room and you're training with lads who are like 6'3" and they played at Wembley, and you're like, I'll be honest, you're shit scared of picking a bench press bar up because I've never lifted it, and I'm thinking they're going to laugh at me. What about if I can't press this bar? And then it knocked my confidence massive, and like I said, that used to being at the top of everything I did, rugby wise, amateur. You're right at.
Yeah, it's almost like you've got to learn how to be a professional.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, especially in that environment, and I obviously I didn't agree with it, and it didn't agree with me. So.
Did you ask for any? Because you were saying there were no mentorship or guidance. Did you speak to anyone around and say?
No, not really. I didn't. I think it was just more of, like we was touched on it before. I think at that point I was deeply in the sort of fear of failure, and I was like, if I open up to somebody, or I've come here with all these expectations and it's not working out, and then, but what I did is I just went within myself, and then started just underperforming, and then missing training sessions, and what I did is then I sought the comfort of my mates who were just at college, and none of them were professionals, and obviously they'd all discovered the pub, hadn't they? So I was on piss all the time then, so
it's very common.
And it just, without even knowing, obviously it spiraled to a point where I'd be missing like maybe 2 training sessions a week, which is big really, because that was my job. It's like I work 2 days a week, so I work turning on a Monday because obviously I'm out all weekend, and then Fridays was another one where all my mates would finish early on a Friday, so Fridays would usually be a video session because you'd be playing on the Sunday, and I was missing from them, so it spiralled out of control pretty quickly really.
What about your parents, and did they not get on board until very soon?
Yeah, I mean, my mum and dad were great, but me and my dad have always had the relationship and I think that stemmed from my dad's relationship with his dad, an ex-pitman, very light, it was, communication was shouting, I tell you and you do what I tell you type of thing, and we've just been talking about it, so naturally I just rebel against that. I'm 16-year-old now. Come on, and it was always a confrontation between me and my dad. When obviously my mum would be like the softer sort of, try and sort of intervene a different way, and my dad would be like, oh, why are you butting in, blah blah blah, and I just rebelled against my dad, and just it got to a point where I was like never at home. Well, I was never at home. I was out doing what I shouldn't have been doing. I didn't, like I said, I wasn't living the life of a professional athlete at all. So I 4 years, signed a 4-year contract, and I think I did about probably 2 or 3, but I reckon I did that at 50%, 25% of my potential, and what if I had the chance now, it would be a different story, but I wouldn't have had other experiences and whatever, so it is what it is.
Hindsight's lovely, isn't it?
Ah, yeah. So it is what it is.
We're all the millionaires.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, even I said some of the mistakes I made, taking painkillers to hide an injury.
Yeah.
Things like that at the time was the right thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Long term now, I've got elastic bands where I need to stand in the living room and do stuff like this. No.
No, you don't. But I don't think. I still don't think, especially men. I don't think we're programmed to think long term when you're a kid as well. I still see this now, and I always think to myself like, would I have done anything different? I don't think I would. I genuinely don't think at 16, at that time, I would have done anything different.
It builds your identity as well.
Yeah.
What you want for your tea and your dinner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
about 10 years down the line. What's for tea? I'm starving.
No,
it's like when you go,
big as it gets, isn't it?
It's like when you go shopping when you're hungry. You buy shit.
Yeah, you buy what you want then, don't you?
Yeah.
You're not buying for a week. You're hungry. You think, right, that's going in, and you know it's. Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's horrible. So yes, you've had this outlook at professional. I know you as again going back to mine as an amateur champion. What line did you did you get a good score, get what they say a normal job?
Well, no, what I did is when I left Salford, my old coach, Lloyd, then was then coaching at Lee. He was the assistant coach at Lee and the academy coach. So we actually agreed a bit of we agreed a buyout in my contract at Salford, which cost money then. So I went playing at Lee, but I was playing at the academy then because I was still academy age, and obviously Lee weren't financially a club that were paying lads. It was they couldn't offer you a first team contract. They were only playing in sort of Division, I think, 1 anyway. So even first team lads were plasters and brickies at day, and then they were playing at night. So I played in the academy, but then again, I'd gone from then being in a full-time environment to then training twice a week at night.
Yeah.
So then I'm scratching about even more then. Then I had to get a job then, and then that was a massive culture shock, because that's then when the time when I should have been in year 10, 11, probably getting my grades, in case the professional career didn't pan out, I'd have something to turn on. Well, I didn't then. Don't get me wrong, I've still got good GCSEs, but I was, shit, what do I do now? And I'd never been one for having to trade me. I just wasn't that type of person. I've always been active. I was just not really. I'm shit at DIY. And all my mates then are like 2 or 3 years into an apprenticeship, and they're all starting to earn good money. Then they're all good on trowel or the plumbing and whatever. And I'm like, so I've gone from being the one who was at school who had everything. Now all my mates who left with like fuck all, and now full time brickies. They're earning loads of money now. And now I'm the one who was earning good money at 16 when I was a full time professional rugby player, and now I'm earning nothing. It's like shit, and then you start up there, it starts hitting you, and you're like, that again, it starts going, I'm a fucking hell, I failed, I'm a failure, and then I started boozing again then, and just I started putting myself in different circles then, away from my friends, because I think now I look back, I think I was embarrassed, and I didn't want my mates to think that of me, so I moved myself away from the lads who I'd gone to nursery with, and I started hanging about in different circles, and it did me no good at all. You know, I was just out then Friday through to Sunday and just doing all sorts of daft stuff, and I think I lost myself, if I'm honest, for a good 3 or 4 years, who I am, and just I just completely broke away from everything that I'd known, and all my good sort of morals and stuff, and yeah, I was in a really shit place for a good while.
Almost like you've been given the keys to the car to somebody you don't know how to drive.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which way, I don't know, so I'll follow this crowd because it seems fun, like you said about now.
Yeah.
It's fun now.
What I found about years like that is, they weren't the same, but it's very similar. You can be with a room full of people all having a good time at a party, but at the same time it's really lonely.
Yeah.
You just feel like I'm on my Todd here.
That's depression, isn't it?
Yeah.
No one's asked
Absolutely.
about me.
Absolutely, and that was another thing, like, I didn't know what depression was then. Never experienced depression, never experienced, at school, especially then, high school in the 90s, and obviously years before, I've never heard the word depression mentioned in school.
Same, yeah.
Never heard mental health awareness, well-being, anxiety. I could honestly, I don't think I've ever heard that word in school. There was certainly no lessons on it, or how to deal with it, and any advice on it. And then you go from, you're in this thing, then you don't know what it is, and it was obviously depression, it was anxiety,
It's not a weekend trip, it's not a week trip, like you said, it could last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it did for me good, I reckon. I'd say probably 18 to about 21, 22, I think.
And what do you feel, like, obviously your key markers, you've said about it, you've been up here, been on a pedestal if you like, around everybody, if not people talk about you like you're the legend.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But then you're turning around going, actually the legend. I felt it myself. I've said to him when I first came out of the army, I didn't know how to put electric on.
Yeah.
Didn't know. Somebody give me like a plastic fob thing. Right, put that there. How do I get electric into that machine?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know nothing.
No.
At all. So you start thinking, actually, I'm not up here.
No.
I'm not this guy who I've maybe made myself out to be psychologically. You fucking go off the rails.
Massively, yeah, and that's where I got to, because come like 19, 20, I was now back level with all my mates, and I did like a few jobs, and I was fucking useless. I couldn't drill an hole or do a screwdriver or cut a piece of copper. I could do anything you think of a rugby ball.
Yeah.
On the field I could do everything, but I've been brought right back down to earth now, because all my mates had learnt skills with their hands and a trade, and I was shit. And my rugby career's gone. I'm like,
You're a play catch.
I've forgotten what I'm going to do.
Yeah. It's like, well done. What can you do that's normal?
Yeah, exactly.
I communicate to him in the past. We can strip clean assemble the machine gun blindfolded in the dark, raining. Real stuff, normal stuff. But it does it. As a bloke, inverted commas, as a man, it hits your masculinity.
I think as well, the education system isn't setting you up for life skills. You don't get taught things you need to know.
No.
This is how you get by in life.
No.
Cooking a meal. Can't cook. Well, I can't make
Safely.
things warm.
Yeah.
Without poisoning
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
No, but like
You'll be setting your house
chopping
on
skills, cutting, like you said, cooking. We're good on it here. We do that, and we touched before about when you said about John Pilk. So I've had John Pilk in here. I ran a project with Sky Sports, and it was I called it the LEAP project, Leadership, Engagement and Participation, and it was everything that a school probably isn't. You would imagine educate. It was all about doing physical leadership skills, so teamwork skills, and we did so many different things over the 6 weeks. John came in and did Army Theme Day, but we did classroom stuff, we did CPR, we did cookery, we went out cooking in the fields, but it's all educational, but it's all those things that when you leave, like when the kids leave school, if like me, or they find themselves in a rut where they've not got something to go to, they've still picked up all their skills, so they could turn their hand at something else, and it's kind of puts them comfortable in their own home. If they get their own flat at 16, they can, like you said, they can wire a plug or you know, whatever it is, you know, put a shelf up, things like that. And
Feel
you're right,
self-worth.
definitely, you're right, there's not enough of it in schools now. There's definitely not enough hands-on education, vocational education. It's gone back, hasn't it, to behind a desk, massively.
But we've gone so. Well, just you're in this darker period. What were your catalyst for pulling you out of it?
As you said, you didn't know by the time you were in there.
No, I didn't have a clue. I thought my switch off was like going you know, I'd be going raving. I still like that music now, by the way. I absolutely love it.
Everyone loves
See,
it.
It's put a donk on it.
Yeah, it's me. See, when I train now, I can't train without that music. Even up until sort of like last year when I was still playing rugby, that's the music that would get me going. But also, when I was out going to those clubs, although I had a great time at the time, they were the worst years of my life because they were when I was nothing. I had nothing. You know, I wasn't driving. I'd lost all my closer friends and my life was shit. But my daughter was born. My eldest daughter was born 2005, so I'm 21, and it probably just started to turn then.
Kids do that.
Focus
Yeah,
on it.
definitely. Yeah, give me a focus. Don't get me wrong. There's still a bit of a dick. Like probably for 3-4 years after that. But I reintroduced myself back to my old friends, and you know, I got a job, got a settled job, and had a job for like 2 or 3 years. So I was working in a warehouse. It started off I was working in a warehouse, and this is not anything against anybody who works in a warehouse, but when I started to sort of come down off my weekends and my life was back on track, and I was earning about, what, 200 quid a week, let's say, then I started to realise, yeah, I'm better than this. Like, now I can start to rebuild again now as I'm hitting 24, 25, and then I started doing a bit of plumbing, and then went on taxis, and just gradually I was just getting more settled in jobs and
Finding yourself.
yeah, find myself a bit more, and then started to sort of almost get back on a track of where I wanted to be successful, really. So
You find yourself as well, being a dad, you need pennies to pay for the normal things.
Yeah.
Nappies, food,
Absolutely,
rent,
yeah.
electric. So once you've dealt with your basic needs, and I think that's a good grounder for everybody, then you can start playing with it then.
Yeah.
Well, actually, right, I'm safe, I'm secure, got people around me who love me. How can I start enjoying what I do?
Yeah.
Bringing in that same crust.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Another and a big thing for me as well. When I when I went to Leigh from Salford, I'd go out on a Friday, stay awake, stay up, go out Saturday, and I'd play Sunday. And I knew at the time it weren't right, but that was my lifestyle at the time, and I dropped levels a little bit, and I was getting away with playing because my talent was getting me through. So off my head playing, you know, I'd not been sleeping or anything. And then when I quit, and then I had about 2 years off, and I just went back playing amateur. So small.
It's a bubble.
Oh man, it's a bubble. Everyone knows it.
Like
Everyone
Burnley.
knows it. Yeah, a bit same. Pretty much most North West towns it's the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, if something happens, everyone knows about it in a minute. So
Yeah.
you
Usually
still,
bad.
I still ain't shook it off, if you like. But I would definitely sort of, as I'm reaching sort of like 24, 25, I was starting to think differently, if you like, and you know, change what I was doing, and I think I'd accepted then as well that I weren't going to be a professional rugby player.
Okay.
You know, because that was still eating away at me. 18, 19, 20, 21, it's still eating. I still do it, and then that's probably the hardest thing, I think, and this will be with any sort of walk life, is actually maybe accepting that something's not going to happen, especially when because for me, I think I started kind of thinking about being a professional rugby player probably from about 10-year-old, I reckon.
Yeah.
And then it's all I've known then. And then you've got to sort of switch off and accept it's not happened, which mentally is massive.
It's huge. It's crossover as well. We said between sport and the military, the way that you live your life, it's the change of routine, regimented routine and focus. And it's that your brain is programmed to be thinking, I'm in this environment all the time. And then it's being able to switch off. And Danny said it perfectly. You might know it yourself. For us, it was walking down the street and going, where's my weapon? Whoa, I'm missing something. Whereas yourself might have just been going for your bag.
Yeah.
Where's my kit bag?
Yeah.
Where's it? I don't need a kit bag. You know, it's
Or
leaving it behind.
Or as well, and which again, like for me, I was always in a room with like 17, 20 lads.
Yeah.
So you could always rely on someone, and it was like the laughing, and then when you're on your own, then it's like,
It's all gone.
yeah, it's gone. Like, you are on your own now type thing. He's not going to drag you out of shit now.
Well, it's like when something funny happens and you look and to laugh and there's
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
there, you go, ah! Oh.
Yeah. Just me then, innit?
Yeah. On your bill. So, bringing us up to now, where we are today, and again, we'll do big shout outs in a bit for this environment. What made you think, I'm going to go get educated?
Well, what it was, about, I think I'm about 25, 26, had an opportunity to do some coaching. Because when I was at Salford, one thing I did enjoy as part of being a full-time professional is we used to go into schools around Salford. Mainly, they were trying to promote rugby league because obviously you're competing with Manchester United, Manchester City weren't even a thing then.
Who were there?
City fans.
What is it over there? There's a lot of red bits of money. I've not seen any blue. We need to get Scott Eagley on.
Yeah, so so Salford were competing with trying to promote rugby league, you know, in a council estate, in a council area, you know, everyone was mad Manchester United, so I used to go in schools and coach kids, and obviously vulnerable kids as well, kids from sort of disadvantaged backgrounds, and just try and get them into rugby. And I absolutely loved it. It was just something, proper rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, we'd go in with, and half the time we'd go in with just shit out at stock room that hadn't been sold last year. You know, foam fingers and that.
Cups and cones.
Loved it, absolutely loved it. They couldn't get enough of it, and they were like asking for your autograph, and you know, I'm just an academy player at the time. No one special, but just the bond that you could create with disadvantaged kids,
Giving back.
just by giving something, was massive. And then about 2008, I got the opportunity to go coaching with a sports coaching company, like we touched on before, and I did schools in and around sort of Lee, Wigan, Warrington. I taught at a school in Ashton, a behavioural school, and it just took me back to when I was enjoying what I was doing at Salford, and that was working with kids who have nothing.
Yeah.
And it just ignited the fire in me, really. Spent about that year just doing every coaching course, going basketball, football, did me rugby, did me like volleyball, you know, mad sports as well, just hockey, you know, things like that, bocce, quick cricket, and was coaching. And then I got an opportunity to run a franchise with this company, and it was sort of when schools had PPA time, which you'll know about. So they'd pay you to go in and do the delivery of teachers, because a lot of teachers, primary school especially, they were PE specialists, so there was a lot of them were sort of, they were nervous, weren't they, as well, about, you know, teaching things like gymnastics, and it just almost gave me a buzz back.
You're finding your purpose.
Yeah, I started to find my feet again, and I was good at it as well, and I was fast tracked pretty quick to then I became my own boss and had my own company then, which was brilliant, but obviously that didn't pan out. So yeah, I had a bit of turmoil with that as well then, because what happened then is, as I'm finding my feet and I got to the point where I had my own franchise and I was employing people as well. I had about 5 people working for me. I think Tories got into power, and I think, if I'm right, they got in kind of as the London Olympics hit, didn't they? Was it 2010, 11? So we just won the bid, haven't we, for the Olympics?
In that region.
And Labour had pledged an absolute shitload of money into school sport, and school sport was booming because they was living on the Olympic legacy. That was going to be the legacy that left behind. And then when the Tories got in, that school funding got cut, a lot of it, because they changed the way schools operated again.
Well, it's no one's fault, but it's that many.
Yeah, exactly. So they were replacing what they'd borrowed or whatever, you know. Like
it's
again,
manifestos as well.
Yeah.
That one, no, we don't play by that rule book anymore. It's this one, overnight switch.
They didn't bother, because that's just the way they are. I don't mean this to be political, but it was a change of government that changed it. Yeah. From a business point of view, for me, what that meant was then schools, head teachers were then saying to me, we haven't got this sport budget's not here now. Yeah. We've got, so I can't have you in. I've had to go and pay Joe Blogg's coaching down the road, because he'll do it 50 quid a day, and I'm like, I cannot do that. What I can tell you is, though, I'm going to stick at my price, but you're going to get a professional service, and you're going to get this, and they just couldn't do it. You know, they were. It was always about
why would I get you? I know you're giving me all this, but when one of my teachers is marking homework, I can have Bill and Ben's bongo drums.
Exactly.
And and they're happy.
Yeah.
That's all that we care about.
Yeah.
We've paid them threepence halfpenny.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, they were a business then, weren't they? The schools then, and they still are now. So they started to become businesses, and I started then to see a different side of education, especially, and priorities. And I quickly started to realise that, and this is not everybody, but our children, the nation's children, money was prioritising their health and education massively.
Yeah.
I felt in a lot of instances because
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
choosing a cheaper option over the right option,
Yeah.
and that was coming from top,
Completely agree.
and it filtered down, didn't it?
Yeah.
Completely agree.
And what happened there is I ended up falling behind with my payments on my what's that?
Get
my,
back.
my franchise, to the point where, because I built up this really good business, I had to wind my business up. So I'm back to square one then, scratching about, and I was in a bad place then. I was depressed as hell then, because what I'd essentially done is I'd built this up from scratch and worked my arse off and got my own little premises and everything, and then I had nothing again.
Someone's put rug from under you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you know this time though that?
Yeah, well, what I did different then was I didn't go off the rails. I luckily, because I'd built up a really good reputation in Warrington, I got a phone call from the job I'm in now. The PE teacher had an accident, I think he broke his leg, so they asked me to go and do some cover there, and it was over at Grappenhall Hall, which was a residential at the time. Went in, and I've been here ever since. Went in covering, and the reason that worked was because it was just a behavioural school. So I went in, and again I'd just gone back into going back to when I was 16, when I was at Salford. So I went back into this school. It was mad as out. Kids were absolutely nuts, you know. It was proper
Yeah.
proper behavioural
I
school.
used to be like you.
And I'm like, you and me, you
Yeah.
lot and me, and
Mad,
it's
isn't
like
it?
buzzing, you know, it wicked, you know, doing everything with them. And like I said, I've been here since now, and what I was able to do there was use all the skills I'd learned and my passion, and then I'm now the PE teacher of this school, and I've been for sort of 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
So it kind of, in the end, it turned out all right, but it's, I don't know, it's, I've had all those little knocks, but then even then I've had to we were talking before, weren't we, about studying again. You have to go back studying then, because I was doing the job of a teacher, but I'm not getting paid the job of a teacher because I hadn't finished my degree.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just being honest, I was putting the work in just as much as anybody else in this building, but I weren't getting paid nowhere near.
But your clipboard doesn't say.
No,
Class as a TA.
it's classed as unqualified teacher, so you get paid a bit more than a TA, but you don't get paid a teacher's job. But if you're doing a teacher's job, you're still doing the same amount of report. Yeah, exactly.
It swings and roundabouts,
Yeah,
isn't it? Of
yeah.
course, yeah, you are doing maybe better than. Because this is where I come across sometimes, in coaching world as well. Well done, you've been school, you've been at uni, you've done everything. When have you fucked up?
Yeah.
Where is your experience to actually say you're qualified
exactly.
to develop somebody?
Absolutely, and that's what we touched on before when I was saying that, qualified in what? You know, I'm not knocking it, but-
BSc, ONS,
Yeah.
what have you actually done?
Exactly. Yes, you've studied, which is great because you need to study. But
Yeah.
outside of that, your education route, what have you done? What have you done in your real life?
Yeah.
Apart from what can you offer these people, apart from what you've learned in a university? And that's where I think that's my teaching style. Is that's what I bring to it. I kind of use my experiences along with what I've learned on the way.
And the point we're putting across, whichever camera we're in, education is good, kids. Stay in school.
Yeah.
The point is, if you're good enough to do the job, pay them the wage. That's the point we're saying.
Well, the reason I asked you about being a TA, because I used to be one before I went back to uni,
Yeah.
or to uni. I was offering covering teachers,
Yeah.
so they'd
Your
write
job.
all their, right, this needs doing, I'm happy with that, and I'd do it,
Yeah.
but the pay difference, for TAs get paid, it's not even minimum wage.
If I'm honest, embarrassing, and that's not.
It's illegal.
That's not against. That's not
It's
against.
illegal.
My partner's a TA. She's a qualified teacher, but she works as a TA because she doesn't want the pressures of a teacher.
Yeah.
And I know now, especially in my job, I can't work without a TA. They are worth the weight in gold. They're absolutely brilliant, and what they get paid is embarrassing. Really, they should be treated miles better because the amount of work that TAs do, and you can't underestimate the quality of a good teaching assistant as a teacher, because what quite often, you know, you're the one that sets the work, but when you look around, it's them that are having those little connections with students here, there, and they're bringing them on, and
well, the masking movement, and so you don't have any dead airtime, dead space with fillers, and even again like your displays, everything.
Right, come here.
And interventions is a key word as well, especially schools now, or big classes and behavioural schools. Intervention is the biggest, for me, one of the biggest sort of parts of a school now, is that intervening in between the different behaviours, and what can you do outside the box from sitting and writing, and that's again where TAs come in. And we do a lot of intervention here. We go outdoors, and we just do different things to everyday sort of curriculum, if you like. But it's not for everybody. The national curriculum is not for everybody.
No, and again, look, my opinion only. Mainstream is, this is the information we're going to give you. We're going to test you on the information we're going to give you. Then we're going to grade you on the information that we've given you. Is it actually learning?
You're teaching to pass exams.
Yeah,
That's
to
what
pass the test. Yes,
and that's what mainstream, your school life is really. It's all about.
We put in the write up in your preview, Tony. It said you work with kids outside of mainstream.
Yeah.
So we'll touch on that now. What is outside? What is mainstream, and what is?
So mainstream education is your your standard route that most children will follow in education. Your early years into Key Stage 1, your infant school, your junior school, your high school. Where you'll do your SATs and you'll do your GCSEs, you'll choose your options on into college. Then obviously you've got your different education. You've got your SEMH is where I work, which is social, emotional, mental health. So we're a school. I work in a school that is for children who aren't in mainstream or have struggled in mainstream, or children who've been expelled from mainstream schools. And there's a big myth around the types of kids in these schools. You would always assume they're naughty kids, but really there's a reason they're here, and quite often it's the fact that they've been in a mainstream school with 30 kids per class. Quite often they've got a learning need, which it could be dyslexia, it could be ADHD, whatever. But because they're in a class of 30, it doesn't get picked up on, and they become the kid that's crying out, and what they'll often do is act out behaviour because they need it, so then they are the kid that's disrupting, and then it follows a cycle of eventually they're removed because it's easier to teach, like you said, 25 kids who've got their head down and writing because they're being taught to pass an exam. This one kid just needs someone to take him aside and show him how to read something differently, or he needs to do something with his hands, or whatever it is, and quite often it's those kids who end up in a special school, if you like.
They ain't got the time to focus on that.
No.
Because the majority
Sometimes,
the priority.
And I get it as well, because my mum was mainstream and I've worked in mainstream. It is pressure because this is I'm not going to dig at any mainstream teacher, because they're under a lot of pressure to keep hitting these statistics. You see it when you go past high schools. 96% of our kids did this. What about the 4%? Well, where's the 4% though? Because they'll be they could be
licking the bottom of the shoe.
Yeah, exactly.
Use it like a phone and throw
there
it.
you go.
Eating his shoe.
Eating his shoe.
But they could also be the 4% that add to our ever-growing mental health crisis, and they could be the ones that end up doing drugs or making. There's got to be a place for them as well, and I think schools, or maybe the education, they should start to celebrate a little bit more what they're doing with those kids that go under the radar, and success stories and things like that.
Well, there's a thing as well, like society and the way the system's become easy to remove the character. Now, I've seen it in sports, you've seen it there. Your Paul Gascoigne, you know what I mean? Whatever he was getting up to in his part, how he dealt with it through alcoholism and everything like that, but a little bit of character. Same in school, character, get rid of that, stamp it out now. Massive John Lennon Gallagher brother fan there. they would have been in that category.
Yeah, they were.
Now what you're saying,
They're bad kids.
yeah, you're not. You're just thinking on a different playing field than I'm going to sit here and pass this test. Well, what about the kaleidoscope eyes?
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Just
seeing
like
things.
guitar.
Yeah, I'm seeing things different.
What time did you say they're locking up?
Shortly.
It's 3 o'clock now.
Right, we'll get to the next stage.
So I just don't want to get locked in.
Yeah,
Oh, they'll not go anywhere.
Sound.
Yeah, the point I'm getting to is exactly what you said. What you're doing with that 4%, are these potentially our geniuses?
Well, yeah, they could be. I mean, not every millionaire, and I'm not going to start naming famous millionaires, but if you look, I know a lot. There's a lot of really successful millionaires, businessmen, who didn't have an education, turned their hand to something else, didn't they? And you hear stories quite often of they were rebels and things like that because the traditional the British traditional education doesn't suit everybody, and it doesn't bring out the best of everybody. You know, we're not all meant to be behind a book and writing and reading with this, you know, and why should we be? This is another thing, like I said, it's probably one of those up for debate, you know, and that's why I think homeschooling's become more popular now, isn't it? There's things called forest schools, we've seen those as well. Learning with your hands and actually getting out there, and who's to say that people who go to a mainstream school will be, or have a better education than someone who learns outside? It's a
form
form
of national programme.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah, absolutely.
It's the same. How do you control the masses? You know, we've done it ourselves. I'll go back and use military and sport. Sporting, how does one coach control 36 lads? Programming, discipline, doing whatever you call values. In the military, how does one commander tell all these blokes with weapons, you're going to go do this, don't you tell me what I'm doing. It's programming and comply or die.
Yeah.
We see it in every walk of society. This is how you do it. Why? Because everybody else does it.
Yeah.
But again, like our John
Very
Lennon,
dangerous. It's very dangerous.
yeah, our artists, our everything, they see things a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, it's usually, you mentioned forest schools there. I did that as part of a qualification in the schools, and it the proofs in there put in your rebels love forest schools.
Stand out
They
in
love
that.
PE. They love going outside, and the very high academic standard ones in class, they're in a world of pain outside. They hate it.
Yeah.
And there's no happy medium.
Which is, I'd say, and that brings you on to like something that I always remember from school, and I've witnessed it even recently, and I've always found a way around it. So whenever I acted up in school, and I know this same lads with me, 9 times out of 10 the punishment would be to not let me go and play for the school team. How wrong's that? Or take your break time off, you take your exercise off you. And I've worked with people who've done it now, and what they would do is punish someone for acting out in a completely different lesson. They punish them by taking away a sporting lesson. So you can't do that because they've acted up in your lesson, but not acted up in my lesson. Or my trip. That child is still coming out to me representing the school because he's going to come out and do a good thing, which might make that bad thing go away. But and it's like you're saying there, you know, that they excel in different things, and that's always been a bugbear of me. And it's always something my teachers try to punish me with. They'd always try and take away something I enjoy as a punishment rather than find a different way of me enjoying that.
But you're going to take that away from me. I'm going to make sure next time.
I'm going to rebel it. I'm going to rebel it worse. Yeah, exactly. So you're going to take it away from me. Next time I'm going to up the ante big time. Yeah, watch what I do.
Watch what I do.
Which is right, isn't it? And it's just natural. That's what you do.
Escalation, isn't it?
Massively, yeah.
Natural.
Yeah.
Good. So, what does the future hold?
I think about this all the time because I always think to myself, I don't want to be in a classroom till like I retire, because I think the job it's getting harder, as in pressures and kids the children are so varied now, like their learning needs and behavioural needs, and we're going into a different age. Like we was talking before about, you know, the PlayStation generation. That's what I like to call it. And PE is even getting harder to deliver because the numbers are dropping off, and I think for me, I'll probably just keep doing what I do, job wise. But since I've started the lockdown challenge, I've kind of like I've started wanting to help people more, just giving me time up a bit more and things like that. You know, not really. No financial gain doesn't bother me, but I'm happy. I'm settled now in life. I've all my shit's in the past type of thing.
Yeah.
So just probably just stay on this path really, I don't know. You know what, it wouldn't surprise me if I hit 40 and I think, bollocks to it, let's do something completely different and let's go on another roller coaster, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're the type of person that likes to keep things fresh as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like you said, it's nothing wrong, and you felt it, I've done this for 2 years now. You know, like I'm looking at my watch, like you said, got another year on it. Yeah, because you're like, I'm good at this. And some people can't compute this, but you're good at it, why are you going to change?
Yeah, because
I want to go learn that.
absolutely, yeah, and I'm like that, so I don't want to get to a point where I'm good, which I'm at now, like I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, but quite often when people get comfortable, they stop improving and they get complacent, and then you just become another one of them, and I'd rather keep improving, and do you know what, even if that means I have a complete career change, so what, I'd do it with a positive mindset, and I'd be doing it because I'm actually doing it because I want to freshen myself up and have a new challenge, you know.
Isn't that the thing of a developer as well, though, whether you be coaching in a classroom, you're doing whatever, how can you, and I've found this myself, how can I give advice, help you develop if I'm not challenging myself?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You're an infantry, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
important that the circles that you keep as well are key into what you get into, because there's good ones and bad ones. We've all been there, haven't we? Bad circles. I think if there's people make you feel good or happy, and it's reciprocated in them, you need to stick in them circles.
Definitely,
You lockdown, you've helped God knows how many people with that, loads.
Yeah.
And we teaching as well. They're good circles, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, you're right, and I think what I've learned and come to realise is that if you surround yourself, or you've been around people that have dragged you down, they'll continue to drag you down. And if you put yourself in that situation, don't expect anything good to come out of it, because it'll just be a negative. So I've learned as I've got a bit older, and probably this job as well, I don't take things too sort of to heart as much anymore, and I don't kind of get involved in sort of chit chat and slanging and all that. And I'm like, no, I'm just like, you know, whatever if you're doing, good on you, man, you do what you're doing, and so be it, you know, because everyone's finding their own way, aren't they? And like I said, I won't be, I'm 35 now, it won't surprise me in the slightest if in 5 years' time I call it a day in teaching and go and do something else. Just
why should I?
Yeah, exactly.
It swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Of course, you are doing maybe better than. Because this is where I come across sometimes, in coaching world as well. Well done, you've been school, you've been uni, you've done everything. When have you fucked up? Where is your experience to actually say you're qualified to develop somebody?
Absolutely, and that's what we touched on before when I was saying, like, qualified in what? I'm not knocking
VSc, ONS,
Yeah,
what have you actually done?
exactly. Yes, you've studied, which is great because you need to study. But outside of that, your education route, what have you done? What have you done in your real life? Apart from what can you offer these people, apart from what you've learnt in a university, and that's where I think that's my teaching style is that's what I bring to it. I kind of use my experiences along with what I've learned on the way.
And the point we're putting across, whichever camera we're in, education is good, kids. Stay in school. The point is, if you're good enough to do the job, pay them the wage. That's the point we're saying.
Well, the reason I asked you about being a TA, because I used to be one before I went back to uni. Or to uni. I was offering covering teachers. So they do
a
all
job.
right, this needs doing. I'm happy with that, and I do it. But the pay difference for TAs get paid. It's not even minimum wage.
If I'm honest, it's embarrassing, and that's not.
It's illegal.
That's not against. That's not against. My partner's a TA. She's a qualified teacher, but she works as a TA because she doesn't want the pressures of a teacher. And I know now, especially in my job, I can't work without a TA. They are worth the weight in gold. They're absolutely brilliant, and what they get paid is embarrassing. Really, they should be treated miles better, because the amount of work that TAs do, and you can't underestimate the quality of a good teaching assistant as a teacher, because quite often, you know, you're the one that sets the work, but when you look around, it's them that are having those little connections with students here, there, and they're bringing them on. And
well, the masking movement, and so you don't have any dead airtime, dead space, the fillers, and even again like your displays, everything.
Right, come here.
And interventions is a key word as well, especially in schools now, or big classes and behavioural schools. Intervention is the biggest, for me, one of the biggest sort of parts of a school now, is that intervening in between the different behaviours and what can you do outside the box from sitting and writing, and that's again where TAs come in. And we do a lot of intervention here. We go outdoors and we just do different things to everyday sort of curriculum, if you like. Because it's not for everybody. The national curriculum is not for everybody.
No, it's not. And again, look, my opinion only. Mainstream is, this is the information we're going to give you. We're going to test you on the information we're going to give you. Then we're going to grade you on the information that we've given you. Is it actually learning?
The teaching to pass exams.
Yeah, pass the test. Yeah,
and that's what mainstream your school life is really. It's all about your exam at the end.
We in the write up in your preview, Tony, it said, you know, you work with kids outside of mainstream.
Yeah.
So we'll touch on that now. What is outside? What is mainstream and what is?
Yeah. So mainstream education is your standard route that most children will follow in education. You know, your early years into Key Stage 1, your infant school, your junior school, your high school. You know, where you'll do your SATs and you'll do your GCSEs. You choose your options on into college. Then obviously you've got your different education. You've got your SEMH is where I work, which is social, emotional, mental health. So we're a school. I work in a school that is for children who aren't in mainstream or have struggled in mainstream. So, or children who've been expelled from mainstream schools. And there's a big myth around the types of kids in these schools. You know, you would always assume they're naughty kids, but really there's a reason they're here, and quite.
What you're doing with that 4%? Are these potentially our geniuses?
Well, yeah, they could be. I mean, not every millionaire, and I'm not going to start naming famous millionaires, but if you look, I know a lot. There's a lot of really successful millionaires, businessmen, who didn't have an education, turned their hand to something else, didn't they? And you hear stories quite often of they were rebels and things like that, because the traditional edge, so the British traditional education, doesn't suit everybody, and it doesn't bring out the best of everybody. You know, we're not all meant to be behind a book and writing and reading. There's, you know, and why should we be? This is another thing. Like I said, it's probably one of those up for debate. You know, and that's why I think homeschooling's become more popular now, hasn't it? There's things called forest schools. We've seen those as well. Learning with your hands and actually getting out there. And who's to say that people who go to a mainstream school will be or have a better education than someone who learns outside?
It's a form of national programming.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same. How do you control the masses? You know, we've done it ourselves. I'll go back and use military and sport. Sporting, how does one coach control 36 lads? Programming, discipline, doing whatever through your core values. In the military, how does one commander tell all these blokes with weapons, you're going to go do this, don't you tell me what I'm doing? And it's programming and comply or die. A lot we see it in every walk of society. This is how you do it. Why? Because everybody else does it. But again, like our John Lennon's and
very dangerous.
Our artists, our everything, they see things a little bit different.
Well, it's usually, you mentioned forest schools there. I did that as part of a qualification in the school, and the proofs in there put in your rebels love forest schools.
Stand out in
love PE. They love going outside, and the very high academic standard ones in class, they're in a world of pain outside. They hate it. And there's no there's no happy medium.
Which is,
there.
I'd say, and that brings me on to like something that I always remember from school, and I've witnessed it even recently, and I've always found a way around it. So whenever I acted up in school, and I know this same lads with me, 9 times out of 10 the punishment would be to not let me go and play for the school team.
Yeah.
Yeah. How wrong's that? Or take your break time off you,
Yeah.
take your exercise off you.
Yeah.
And that was and I've worked with people who've done it now, and what they would do is punish someone for acting out in a completely different lesson. They'd punish them by taking away a sporting lesson. So well, you can't do that because they've acted up in your lesson, but not acted up in my lesson. So
Yeah.
on my trip, that
Yeah.
child is still coming out to me representing this school because he's going to come out and do a good thing, which might make that bad thing go away. But and it's like you're saying there, you know, that they excel in different things, and that's always been a bugbear in me. That, and it's always something my teachers try to punish me with. They'd always try and take away me something I enjoy as a punishment, rather than find a different way of me enjoying that.
Well, you're going to take that away from me. I'm going to make sure next time.
Oh, I'm going
it's
to
gonna
rebel.
be, it's going to be worth it.
Worse. Yeah, exactly. So if you're going to take it away from me, next time I'm going to up the ante big
Watch
time.
this.
Yeah, watch what I do next.
Yeah, watch what I
Well,
can
yeah,
do.
which is right, isn't it? And it's just natural. That's what you do. 'Cause
Escalation, isn't it?
massively, yeah,
Natural.
yeah.
So it's good. So, what does the future hold?
You know, I think about this all the time because I always think to myself, I don't want to be in a classroom till like I retire, because I think the job, it's getting harder, as in pressures, and kids the children are so varied now, like their learning needs and behavioural needs, and we're going into a different age, like we was talking before about, you know, the PlayStation generation. That's what I like to call it. And PE is even getting harder to deliver because the numbers are dropping off, and I think for me, I'll probably just keep doing what I do, job wise. But since I've started the lockdown challenge, I've kind of I've started wanting to help people more, just giving me time up a bit more and things like that. You know, not really. The financial gain doesn't bother me, but I'm happy. I'm settled now in life. I've all my shit in the past, type of thing.
Yeah.
So probably just stay on this path, really. I don't know. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if I hit 40 and I think, bollocks to it, let's do something completely different and let's go on another roller coaster. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're the type of person that likes to keep things fresh as
Yeah,
well.
definitely. Yeah.
Like you said, it's nothing wrong, and you felt it. I've done this for 2 years now. Like I'm looking at my watch, like it's got another year on it. Yeah, but see, you're like, I'm good at this. And some people can't compute this, but you're good at it. Why are you going to change?
Yeah, because
I want to go learn that.
Constantly evolve.
absolutely, yeah. And I'm like that. So I don't want to get to a point where I'm good, which I'm at now. I'll be like, I'm comfortable what I'm doing, but quite often when people get comfortable, they stop improving and they get complacent, and then you just become another one of them. And I'd rather keep improving. And do you know what? Even if that means I have a complete career change, so what? I'd do it with a positive mindset, and I'm doing it because I'm actually doing it because I want to freshen myself up and have a new challenge, you know.
Isn't that the thing of a developer as well, though, whether you be coaching in a classroom or doing whatever? How can you, and I've found this myself, how can I give advice, help you develop if I'm not challenging myself?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You're an hypocrite, aren't you?
You are,
definitely,
and it's
It's important that
yeah.
the circles that you keep as well are key into what you get into, because there's good ones and bad ones. We've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah.
Bad circles. I think if there's people make you feel good or happy, and it's reciprocated in them, you need to stick in them circles.
Definitely,
So the lockdown, you've helped God knows how many people with that.
Yeah.
Loads.
yeah.
And with your teaching as well. They're good circles, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You're right, and I think what I've learned and come to realise is that if you surround yourself, or you've been around people that have dragged you down, they'll continue to drag you down.
Yeah.
And if you put yourself in that situation, don't expect anything good to come out of it, because it'll just be a negative and negative. So I've learned as I've got a bit older, and probably this job as well, I don't take things to heart as much anymore, and I don't kind of get involved in sort of chit chat and slanging and all that. And I'm like, no, I'm just like, you know, whatever if you're doing, good on you, man. You do what you're doing, you do what you're doing, and
Yeah.
so be it. You know, because because everyone's finding their own way, aren't they? And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm 35 now. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if in 5 years' time I call it a day in teaching and go and do something else. Just, I probably will just want another challenge. I've, especially with like the lockdown, I've had a look at how like people have been coming to me for advice. Like you know, I don't know, mate. You know, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not, you know, but it's given me an idea to sort of maybe look at opening a bit of a drop-in centre, a bit of an educational centre, because I've got the qualifications I've got. Rather than it be a school, it'd be like an adult educational centre where we can do some outdoor learning. You know, for lads who are looking at getting back into jobs, or lads who have maybe suffered with some depression, and just to sort of boost them and get them back in. You know, it's just an idea, but
Now we've had those experiences, and it's not, oh, I'm a developer, I'm this, that, ever. I'm a bit of a leader in my field.
yeah.
You know, and that's where we found over the last 2 hours, and overheating cameras and door slamming and telecoms coming through.
But no sex panting.
No panting.
Yeah, no panting, yeah.
We've got there. So, thank you for sitting down with us.
No, mate, you're welcome, both of you. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. It's nice to just share like life experience in it and in different ways, and that's what we said before. You know, what you've done in life can outweigh sort of what you can get down on a piece of paper or a certificate you can get, and the more you can share it and sort of bounce off different people and accept different people's ways of life, everyone will be a little bit better off it, won't they? You know, it's definitely, you've got to be a little bit more open-minded, but it's been good. Enjoyed it.
Shout-outs.
Yeah, have you got any shout-outs?
Anyone at home?
Anyone at home? Yeah, shout out to my missus. Hi, Rachel. Got a shout her out. Actually, my missus used to work here as well, so that's how we met. We met here.
All right.
Yeah. Shout out to my kids, and I want to give a shout out. Are we on that camera? That camera?
Bit of both.
Bit of both. So, just everybody in the lockdown challenge as well, because we started that group like nine weeks ago now, with the intention of just, like I said, to just tackling boredom and being there for people, and the things we've been able to do, we've gone on and we've helped so many people, and when I said we, I mean the group, everybody in it. Just, you mentioned before, there's someone asked for some advice and there's 600 comments, and so yeah, just everybody who's doing it tough, and everybody who's had a bit of a shit time, everybody who's thinking of changing something, just go for it, do it, you know, just have a go at it, and if you fail or it doesn't work, think about what didn't work, do something different, and try and go ahead, you know.
Yeah, and we'll put all the the links in the descriptions to all the GoFundMes and
cool,
everything like that. Keep the money ticking over. Are you just keeping it open?
We're going to close it this Sunday because obviously it's been 9 weeks now, and as we're kind of coming out of lockdown, aren't we, in a way, whether it's right or wrong, you know, we are out. Yeah, exactly. You know. So I was mindful that we didn't want to get to a point where everything's back to normal and we still got this money, so we're going to hand it over on Sunday. We're going to close it on Sunday. We want to hit 15 grand. I think we're about 300 quid short now, and then we're going to, like I said, so get donations in. We're going to then start asking for smaller organisations, smaller clubs, whatever, people in need to come to us, and I'm going to change how we do it, and we're going to look at raising money and trying to boost things for different people and stuff, you know, and at least we can say that 33,000 of us raised 15 grand for the NHS, and we did our bit, we tackled mental health and well-being, and
press-ups, drinking pints, hot
wings, you know, dressing up in our wives' clothes, whatever it is, but it got us there, didn't it? It got us to the end.
Well,
so
good idea.
Been brilliant.
Well, I've read posts, people saying thank you, this group's helped me so much, because you don't know what people are getting up to behind closed doors, do you?
Well, there was even a bit on our street. One of the lads, let's just say, lives at number 1.
Yeah.
Lockdown challenge, did a pint. Guy in number 2 did 2 pints. And they had a bit of tennis between them both till they both hit garden.
Yeah, we don't promote that, but yeah.
No, don't promote that. But like you said, it would have been a piece of, what are you going to win? This piece of grass.
Yeah. I didn't know it, yeah.
We're over it, like.
Yeah. But it's got me through as well, I'll be honest. I was probably a bit like you two, especially in your former, like, you know, your careers, when you're so used to being active. I'm so used to being in, and I teach 8 lessons a day where I'm either on that field or I'm in a gym, and I was like thinking, I'm going to be going home just sat about, like,
Scratching,
you know,
yeah.
scratching, and
It's scary.
it's like, wow. So it's kept me occupied as well, and I hope, obviously, it's done good for everybody. So
It has definitely.
definitely.
Any shout outs, Donny, this week?
Polly, she started a run